this up, Jamie. We'll be in trouble if we say the wrong thing about Taylor.
FAM's Ocean Drive, which...
And it's time for this.
Ocean Drives films with Eclipse Dine-In Cinemas Bundoran. Now serving pizza, hot dogs, ice cream and more to your seat. Find out more at Eclipse Cinema.
It's what Thursdays were made for. Time to join our man at the movies, Collie McFadden, with the very latest from Eclipse Cinemas in Bundoran. Did you miss me?
Well, in many ways, yeah, your absence was noted. Shall we put it like that? We were so busy. Shane and Paddy absolutely held the fort, but we've had such a busy week anyway. And like, all I could see is this happy, refreshed man in front of me going, "Oh, I've had such a great time." And like, I've had a great time too, but we've had the Donegal Bay, the first ever Donegal Bay Film Festival on in Bundoran all week. So it's been busy. Lots of locally made short films. It's brilliant. And it's been really good to see the interest. On the first night, we actually had to move to the big screen. So many people came out. So that's great to see. And it shows you again that, you know, I know friend of the show, Val Robus would agree. The arts are there. If people get the opportunity to do them, people would support them. We love our Hollywood blockbusters, but we also like this. And it was particularly poignant as well, Jamie, because the organizer, Mark, passed away just a couple of weeks ago. And it was great to have it and in tribute to him and see all the local artists. However, it did mean a lot of extra work for me. So
you have a big night tonight, though, have you?
I'm absolutely wired. And tonight is all the more important for a couple of reasons. One, it's National Poetry Day, and today's one is specializing in poems, particularly involving the border, the 100 years of the border between North and South. But more importantly, the guest speaker and Q&A host is Dr. Niamh Hamill, renowned professor, but more importantly, my big sister. And if I don't give it a plug, I am for a battering, but it's really good and tickets are free. Just turn up and come and see the arts. It's a brilliant event, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this will become an annual thing.
Okay, is that tonight now?
That's tonight at 8 o'clock.
What time?
And 8 o'clock, and it's the last one of the three. And everyone's welcome. Come along and have a look. It's been great.
Okay, we got a big week. I have to say, I did enjoy the first one of these, right? Which goes back a long time ago. Scared the absolute living daylights out of me. But The Exorcist, Believer, the new movie.
Yes, and it is actually exactly 50 years. Last week, 50 years ago, this movie came out. And as you said, scared the bejesus out of everyone. And it's one of those things that people go, it's not just a great horror movie. It is a great film. It changed Hollywood movie making. And there have been other sequels, but this is the first one that the direct stars are kind of back for. And it's a real move on. And let's play a clip. Do you find an acceptable clip, Seamie?
I found an acceptable clip. Here we go.
You have some experience with possession.
Yes, more than I'd like.
Angela's not herself right now.
It's happening to my daughter, too.
She's waiting for you. These girls are connected.
They're beating in sync.
Don't be scared.
The Exorcist Believer in cinemas October 6.
We love you. Please come home. And that's the mild version.
So here's the thing. I only got to see 25 minutes of this movie today. Not because I was too scared to turn it off, although I was getting a bit freaked out, which was kind of just to this point. So the two girls go missing. They're great friends in school, but their parents don't know that they're friends. And all of a sudden, they turn up again. But are they the same? Has something changed? So I suppose 50 years later, you know, X is famous for this little girl is possessed. How do you do that? Two little girls possessed. And suddenly there's a demon. Is it the same demon or is it a different demon? We don't know. But suddenly Ellen Burstyn, who played Reagan's mother in the first Exorcist, she turns up and says, "We've seen this before." And we're all again. So it's all dramatic, all the music. As I said, I only watched the first 25 minutes because of logistics. But I had watched the original Exorcist last week. And a lot of the shots, like, it is much more inspired by it. There's really, he studied the camera the camera work of William Friedkin, and it was really atmospheric, and I was really getting into it, and my alarm went off, and I had to go, I have to go to work now. This is no good.
All right.
I think it looks promising. Look, is it going to be as good? Of course it's not. You cannot go back after 50 years of it broke the mold for horror movies. And we've watched 50 years of horror movies from Saw to Scream. All of these are direct reactions to The Exorcist. It changed. You can only invent the wheel once. Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
So it's not going to be as original and as shocking as it was to a generation of people who've grown up on these movies. But
so do you think
really
they just kind of modernized it, really?
Yeah, modernized it and taking it into, with new technology. So what would happen if a demon possessed somebody today? Now that we're more cynical about religion, now we don't think the same way. Now we're in a world of internet and cell phones. What would you do? So it's an interesting take on it. It's got really good reviews. Again, it's not going to be The Exorcist. It's like making The Godfather 4. You can't ever make that again because you can't be that original again in that one field. But looks really interesting, and it's got a lot of buzz. People are really interested in it because The Exorcist, I think, is a byword for scary movies in Ireland. When people think of stuff, they really think of The Exorcist, and I'm really looking forward to watching the rest of it. I'm really curious to see how it goes.
Does that open tonight or tomorrow?
That opens tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay.
Tomorrow, I'll be running all over Halloween.
Okay, we've got Mean Girls. Next.
Mean Girls. She doesn't even go here. Now, we're talking about great movies, right? So, The Exorcist, not just a great horror movie, a great movie. Mean Girls, people would expect me to say one of the great teen movies. Seamie, it is one of the great movies of all time. I don't care that I'm a 50-year-old bloke. It is a brilliant movie, and the only people who are disagreeing with me haven't seen it. I know this for a fact, right? If you're thinking, nah, it's not that good, you haven't seen it. A brilliant teen comedy, so quotable all these years. It has its own day, which is October the 3rd, but we decided to bring it back. Now, it's going up against rugby, but it's possible that a lot of the people who are less interested in the rugby will be more interested in this. Showing it in the Director's Lounge, we're going to make fetch happen. And again, there's people who know what that means, and those who don't, go see this movie. Funny, it's 20 years old next year. I'm sure we'll bring it back for that because it is just a great, fun movie. What a way to spend a rainy Saturday night. Absolutely brilliant. You'll be full of joy afterwards. Great.
Yeah, you don't think it's any good, so.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence. Now, we also have the Disney 100 movie this week. Is the only one of these I haven't seen, and I haven't caught up with yet, which is The Princess and the Frog, because it's relatively modern. It's about 2001, 2002, and I'm really looking forward to catching this. Tomorrow morning, I have the choice, Exorcist or Princess and Frog. It'll probably depend on my mood, which I watch. But it's a wonderful Disney animation classic, and it was a huge hit at the time. And again, we're showing it. It's only $4.90 or $3.95, and it's a great way to see it again. Now, there is a big gala showing in the Director's Lounge too, but this is a wonderful one. And sometimes maybe with the more modern ones, if you were maybe 20 at the time, you wouldn't have been bothered with it. But those people now have kids, so they can go and see it together, and it'll be a lovely movie. So big up to that. Also a mention for Under the Kitchen Sink. You might remember just before Barbenheimer, we were the only cinema in the world, I think, that had a really busy Thursday night because we were telling the story of young Keelan Gone, a bit of a legend here in Bundoran, who had a horrific accident with caustic soda when he was a child, and just his resilience and character shone through, and he ended up making his own documentary about his life because so many people had asked him, how did you get on? How did this happen? And it was a huge hit here in Bundoran, and people have just been nagging Keelan, would you put it on again? Would you put it on again in the cinema? And so we're playing that on Sunday night. And after a week of loads of homegrown stuff, it's brilliant. It shouldn't be a once-off. We should be trying to do this as often as possible. Mix the two, sort of Real Madrid with the Galacticos and local players. That's the way we want to do it too.
Sounds good.
It's great. The fact that I like Keelan has nothing to do with it. It's actually a really good movie. Yeah.
That's Under the Kitchen Sink, and you're playing that on
Sunday at 8:00. Yeah.
8:00. Okay, watch out for that. Okay, that's back. I suppose we're down to Misted Monday, are we? And it's back, is it?
Let's not. It hasn't gone away. It never really went away. What's amazing about this movie, we've mentioned this before, this would be the phenomenon of the year, if I could say phenomenon properly, it would be the phenomenon of the year, except for the Lady in Pink, Barbie. This made humongous amounts of money. And again, do you know what we're saying about, people won't go and see local movies? Yes, they do. People won't go and see a serious drama that there's no real effects. It's just actors being really good for 3 hours. Made over $1 billion. It's the most successful biopic of all time. Beat Bohemian Rhapsody. It's a brilliant movie and it's great. And you can see it for just a $5. That works out about, 10 cents. What? I can't even work out the math. It's so cheap. Go and see it.
Okay, before we have 20 seconds before you go, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, so Taylor Swift is coming next weekend. It's going to be so busy. The big concert movie, loads of the shows have sold out. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to I think I'm going to get a Swiftie on as well with me, though.
Swiftie, here we go.
To give a proper review, because we don't want to mess this up, Seamie. We'll be in trouble if we say the wrong thing about Taylor.
Absolutely. Right, that's Collie on Movies. That's all happening in Eclipse Cinemas. Thanks. Enjoy the movies this week. Thanks, Collie.